Hi everyone, so in this video we're going to try out the new Diamond Press Nativity pop-up die kit. Super sweet and just lovely, so let's see what that's about because I do have a card base actually now that I think about it set up ready for this pop-up. So they did send these items free of charge from my review, and of course all opinions are my own, and any links I have in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. And I am familiar with their pop-ups in the past that they've had where it has like this little box and that helps you pop up your items on the inside. So we'll look at that in just a minute. Super sweet. Sorry guys, let me just get this opened up here. And we are just plugging right along. Thank you guys for your sweet comments, everyone, with all the different items Diamond Press has brought for Christmas in July there on HSN. Really, really fun. And again, remember that on the craft day, they are going to have a $5 shipping cart. So anything you put in your cart by the end of the day will be $5 altogether for your craft items, right? So the one shipping charge. Oh gosh, look at this Nativity pop-up card. We have the stable. It says you need one of those. You need 5 pieces and 3 pieces of the other. Of course, that depends on how many little characters or what you're going to do with your pop-up. And so they're showing on the card base. You can stamp it and do some fun things like that and then go for it, right? As far as popping up everything. So it looks like for the baby Jesus there and then your little stable, you're going to need at least 3 of those squares. I said 3 and I went like this. 3 of those squares. And one in the back. So it is 4, see? Oh, something in my mind saw that 4th one. And then the other pieces, so that's what those extra little boxes are there for. Again, super sweet. We're just going to stamp and cut and then just put in whatever it is that you want for your scenery. It does come with a marquee cutting folder. Of course, that's for your dies in the marquee machine, but if you don't have a marquee machine, any machine that you have that cuts thin metal dies will cut these thin metal dies. They are interchangeable. And so there we go. So we have Mary and Joseph here, and then the little animals. We have, again, stamps for like the backgrounds. We have your stable, little baby Jesus there. You have a little star, like if you want to pop that up on top there. However you, again, build up your scene. Merry Christmas. Lots of little star, like accent pieces. I love the font on this. This is really cool. So Merry Christmas, adore him. We have blessings. We have Christmas begins with Christ. We have Oh Holy Night. And we have the little camel there and the wise men just there. Really pretty. The whole look of it reminds me so much of the stained glass that you would see at church and things. So we have that. We have the die to cut, of course, the stable, all the different characters, and then those little stabilizing blocks that we will need. So what I'm going to do is grab the card base that I was thinking about using. You guys probably already know what I'm thinking. It's this little guy here. Now let me see if it says... so the examples are shown on a 5x7 card base, it says. So let me see if this is going to work, actually. Because, you know, it's a pop-up, so it has to kind of fit in there. Okay, so that will work. And then as far as characters, we'll see how many I can put in there. I'm thinking maybe just this and the baby is what I'm going to be doing today. So when it opens up, you know, you can still put other characters in there, but you might want to put them this way or however, like they're showing. Maybe we don't have the room for that. So maybe... we'll see what we end up with. But let me grab some marker paper, the kind of paper that I like to color in with markers. So specific paper for alcohol ink markers. If you want to do this watercolor, of course you can use watercolor papers or Bristol paper. Sometimes people use things like that. But I will grab my ink and that, and I'll be right back. I have some hybrid ink here that I'll use. And just get that right in the corner there. So I'm going to stamp this guy. And then give myself some room just in case, but the dies are usually like right on the way Diamond Press has been doing them more recently, so really nice. And I'm just tucking this all the way to the corner so I don't have to tape this down, or excuse me, so I don't have to tape it down or have magnets or anything. And then I'm just using, again, a hybrid ink, and again, hybrid inks are good to use with water-based and alcohol-based products. And they do run a little drier though, I've noticed. Like they feel a little, not chalky, but just not, I don't know. They're a little different. So again, firm even pressure with your acrylic stamp, and I can see I missed a spot just in here. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so we have that. And then I'm just going to stamp, again, you know, baby Jesus. Because if I just have those things in there, These are the two items. And let me see about how or where we are popping these guys up, because a lot of times they have to touch. So what I'm showing you here is, as you build it up, you're going to have your manger, and those little boxes are going to be touching the top of your card, so that when you open it, it's like pulling it open, or it's keeping it open up here, and then down here, it's at the very base. So it pops up instead of like just coming up with the top of the card. And then you set up your layers, and the next layer, if you're going to do the little animals, they come in and they touch these guys, so that they're all kind of layered into each other. So, you know, it's whatever you want to do, whatever you have room for. I do think you probably have room for all these things, because if we put those guys there, but it might be a little snug. So I'm just going to do the baby, and I think that's it for today. So then we can do some other decorating and stuff. So actually I could stamp this here and then cut it out with the die, but I'll just, yeah, maybe I will. Let's get him going. So again, I'm making, you know, an A2 size card, but if you're doing a 5x7, you can definitely build that scene out even more. Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, let me let this dry, and then I'll grab my markers in the meantime, and we'll get that going. And as you can see, you can build up just a scene if you want to just color it, and you don't have to do the pop-up thing or anything like that, right? So just like this. You can even do masking, and if you wanted to put like the other characters on here, and it would look really cool. So anyhow, so I'm kind of looking at this. I'm looking at the images that they have here, and you know, they have that beautiful little halo here, and then everything else that's going on there. So it looks like that middle section is maybe a face. So I'm going to, because I was going to make the whole thing kind of halo, so I'm just going to put a little bit of color there. I always like to use the neutrals and the like chocolate colors for skin tones, but I'm just going to put a little bit there. So it's neutral light, neutral medium, and then just blend that back out. And then, you know, I'm not going to take too much time to do this part, like as far as the yellow. So let's say yellow here, and then the other ones are going to be like orange. So I'll bring in that yellow, and then I think I'm using sunflower to complement that, because just to give it a little bit of a, excuse me, just to give a little bit of blending. So I'm just going to do that. And then I'll also do an orange set, so that was yellow and sunflower, the lightest ones, and then marmalade is from the Mega Marker Kit. And so on this one I'm just going to do the light orange and the dark orange. You see, I'm not even coloring it too well right now, because when I come back in, we'll fix that up. And this is medium, a little bit deeper, just at the base here. And then I picked purple for his little like swaddling cloths, just because it's such a pretty and regal color, so that's what I'm going to do for that. And so we have that. And then of course the manger is pretty much browns and browns, so what I'm going to do with the manger is just do light brown in here and a darker brown up top, which I'm going to use the chocolate colors. So like the base, I'll use chocolate light and chocolate medium on this area, and at the top I'll do light, medium, and dark, so that the wood comes out darker looking, just to have a different color. Same thing with the little base of his little manger here. And then his little cloths, I grabbed this little purple, and oh, okay, so a couple things. So this on the outside here, I guess just, this is more of the decoration one. I'm just going to use this purple. So pretty. And then just blend that back through. The lighter purple. And then that can be purple on the top too. I just grabbed a very light blue so it looks white. And I'm just going to kind of come around the edges like this, just to add a little color to that. Yeah, and everything else is brown, so I will be back. Ready to go. Just gonna trim that down. Not too close, but close enough. There we go. And let's see. So I already have this guy out. Oh, awesome. So I was gonna make an aperture if I needed to, but honestly, you can see through this pretty well, like what you're doing. So just give yourself a little room here. You know, kind of eyeballing everything around there. That looks pretty good. Maybe about there. So I will say, since that stamp is larger and it has the two legs that kind of just do what they want, next time I'll pay a little more attention to that it's nice and straight, because if you do something like this, obviously if you stamp it like that, it's not going to match up as perfectly. So I will mention that right now. So just make sure you have it nice and straight when you go to do that. Okay, so I will just tape that down. I have a feeling I was a little bit wonky on that one, but not too bad. So we'll just tape that. Something like that. Let's see here. And then I suppose I can get this cut out too at the same time. And then we'll also need some of these blocks. So let me, okay, so I just want to see. So I do need 3 of the larger blocks, 1, 2, and 3, and then 1 little one for the top. So for this large piece, we need 3 of these, and I'll probably cut them out of white paper since I have a white base there. And 1 of this one, okay? And then we'll match up our little baby 2 here. Oh, so sweet. Look at that. And you can see through it really easily, so we'll just do that. And I'll run these through and I'll be right back. Hey guys, so we have that. I just cut that from some scraps of paper there. And so we're just going to make our little boxes. So basically the first step was to go ahead and do all these things and decorate. I am going to put some stamping probably on the inside, but once I see where the little manger goes, maybe I'll put a little star up here. Again, it's right maxed out, so it'll just be there kind of in the background. So hopefully it'll show through. But we have this guy here. So again, just like in the past, I think the last one I did like this was the Halloween set, if you guys remember. It had little boxes like this. So we're just going to score them on their score lines and put them together in a little box. Now, they're showing to put this on the outside and this one, or you put on the inside, whatever it is that you prefer. I'm going to put on the inside, but hopefully that'll be okay. They're like, we told you to put it on the outside, right? No, it's good. So we have this here. Either way, it's going to get glued down in the next one. So, all right. So I'll do the same thing with all the 3 that are left, okay? Just fold them up. Same thing with this little guy. It's just smaller, that's all. Okay, I'll be right back. When you make boxes or things like this, and I always end up not talking about it, you can put this on here. It's clearly, I had it like this. In the picture they're showing to glue it on the outside, however you want. But you can also just flatten it out and make sure that that's glued down. Just make sure you're not gluing it together down here. So that also helps out, instead of just holding it together in the air like I always end up doing. I don't know why I do that, but I'll be right back. For this next part, we are going to need our pieces, and they're just showing you where to put your pop-up boxes on each item. Oh my gosh, you guys. Look at that. Cute. And then look how nicely this is just, everything's cut out. I love that. Love that, love that. Okay. Again, I had a little wonky leg over here, but that's all right. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over. And then we only have the 2, items that we're working with, but, you have the pictures here and it shows you, or the drawing here, it shows you exactly where to put your little boxes. What I'm interpreting this is like, see how it's a little bit longer, then it has a smaller piece? If you look at these guys, they all have that, like, a longer area, and then a smaller area, because it's a rectangle, but, as you can see, it's longer here than shorter there. So that long piece is what's facing up. And then the piece where it has a junction is what I'm going to have facing down. So we're going to do it this way. So we have, so we're going to have our little baby. We have this piece, again, long area facing up. The junction, the part where we glue it together, is in the back. Of course, if your little glue tabs are on the outside, you would see that. And then placing it right here. So long area, short area, right in the center here, and move it over just a little bit. Okay, so the measure is going to be the same for all of them. Again, the little box constructions in the back, I'm just going to put glue on that piece. You're only putting it on this back portion, right? Like this one, I didn't glue the whole thing, just that area right there. As you push it flat, this is going to be here. And again, I'm just centering it right at the base. Not quite at the little footies, right? So those are down there, right up here. And did I say footies because Miranda says footies? Yes. She's always talking about her footies. Okay, and then this side again, the long side facing up, so that when it pops up, that little short side is down. So for now, oopsie, actually I did that one backwards, but that's okay. So we're going to do it this way. Okay. Again, long pieces up, that little short areas here. My goodness, you guys, it's that time with those allergies. My goodness. All right, so we have this guy, and then our last one. So again, you know, you have that little junction in the back, and you want the tall end up here, the short down at the bottom. So I'm putting glue on this, the larger base piece, and we're gonna put this. It shows it right at the bottom actually of this one. So even though there's a little gap right there, I'm gonna place it right towards the bottom of his little area here. So there's like a little white space down there. I'll hold that down, and then that's step 3. We're going to move on to step 4. And before I really do step 4, I'm going to see where I can place my little star stamp on the inside of my card, which was actually, again, step 1, right? You decorate the card base. But I'll be right back. One other thing I want to mention about the little legs, just tips that I remember, and then you can take the die and cut it just like this, right? So we know where the die cut. And you can put this down, and then what you do is put this in your stamp positioner, right? The whole thing. And then you bring your stamp over, and you can lay it in here. And if you have a stamp positioner, you're going to see exactly, or even just if you're going to pick it up and just stamp it. Now you know if it's right in those spaces, go ahead and pick it up with your stamp positioner, or move this little guide, and then it'll just be good to go, right? So you know that your legs are nice and straight. I move that to the side. And on this one, what I'm going to do is just stamp, just pushing this all the way up to the corner. Now there is some, obviously, things at the bottom under here, so hopefully I can get a good stamping, even with those items already there. And I want to stamp this guy, and I'm just going to stamp it right in the center. Again, it might show, it may not, but either way I have it here. I'm going to put it right in the center, as high up as I can. There we go. And I'm going to stick this down so it doesn't keep popping up. And I just want some really bright, like, yellow ink. Ooh, you can even do like yellow and orange, or just black, or whatever it is that you want to do, but mix the colors yellow and orange. Oh my goodness, so pretty. And then we're gonna have our manger right here, right? It's gonna pop up, and then our little guy's gonna be here. So maybe down here at the bottom, I'm gonna stamp "Oh come let us adore him," but I'm gonna do it upside down because it's the bottom of my card. And we have this lovely sentiment here. So let's say we have it there. Maybe a little more straight. And let's do that in red. Sorry, as I'm patting that, it's hitting one of my machines back here. Hopefully that didn't move too much on me. Oh, look at that. Okay, let me clean up and I'll be right back. Silly, you guys. Let's finish that up. So "Oh come let us," and then "adore him." And again, excuse me, I'm gonna put that right here, and hopefully I still have room for that. And I'm just eyeballing it as far as left and right, center, all that. So let's see. And if we are gonna color this now, I just use a regular card base that doesn't have anything, interesting about it that's like, oh, this is good for markers or anything like that. So I'm just going to stamp it. I'll still stamp it with a hybrid ink here, just some black ink. And of course I'm doing it upside down because I'm stamping it the way I am. It's already essentially a pre-made card, right, as far as my decoration on it and everything. So I'm just going to ink that up. I think I got in there pretty good. Let's see. And I'm going to try to really get in there since it's right at the edge. Oh, look at that. Okay, now I'll clean up. I'll be right back. Guys, so step 4 is basically adding in our pop-up pieces, right? So they're showing on this back piece. These are all going to be on the same plane, like on the same level, because of the way I built up my scene. Now, if you're, again, if you're having different characters, you're going to build them up after this. So this is essentially like the first piece. Oop. And what we're going to do is, now this is interesting. So They were facing up like this, right, when we glue them down so that that large piece is up. Now we're going to push them down like this, okay? All your pieces. That's kind of what it's showing you here. And you're putting glue, again, essentially like we did the first time on the thicker, the bigger areas. So this big area that's here, let me get some of that off. Got a little too much. On the big, again, the square kind of area here and here. And so when you go to place it, you're sticking them up top. And the reason you're doing that is because that's going to help you pull it open. So I'm just going to kind of push that down. And when I get to this one, also needs to be kind of pushed down. So I'm just going to hold these for now. Hopefully you see that there's that tab. Just essentially like you see in the picture here. Right, so just that square area that's behind there is getting glued down. And you know what? This glue holds so quickly I can just move on. So on this one, same thing. We have our little baby Jesus here. We're going to push that down. So now that larger tab is down in this area, and we're putting glue. And we're also going to stick him right on this little horizon line here. Okay, so I'll hold that down, and I'll be right back. Okay. So while that's still a little bit wet, I'm going to close it up. So when you put on this line here, just make sure it's a little bit above maybe, you know, the score line, not like down in this area on the bottom flap, right above your score line. But to kind of help that, I'm just going to turn it over and just give it a bone folding. I have another bone folder that I need to clean off. I need some Goo Gone on these guys. They have like stickiness from other projects. Okay, so just because that gets us kind of where we need to be. And then on this next one, we are going to just glue these guys down. Okay, guys. So I do want to show you something. When I went to put these guys on, I just put them, you know, like on this guy, I did do straight flush. On this one, for whatever reason, I put it up towards the upper portion, and that's not going to help out because when I go to do this, it's going to be in the way, right? Those little sticks. So I'm just going to cut them off. But when you do yours, make sure that you just put your boxes down flush. I'm sorry. I'm just going to take a moment and cut these away. I'm like literally just like this. Just cutting that off. But of course you wouldn't have to do that if you had just made them flush at the beginning like I should have. Okay, so I'm going to take a moment to cut these away. Just these little tab bits that are kind of down here. Okay, and I'll cut that one and that one, and I'll be right back. What's so funny is that in the video, in that portion, I had pointed out that this was flush, you know, at the very base, not up and top. And this one, I just didn't do it that way. I don't know. And you guys know me. I never make oopsies here, so this is very, very not on brand for me. Okay, so all right, so let's see. Last thing was you're gonna put glue on these little base bits because that's what holds it to the base so that it'll pop up, because right now it's just, you know, on the top. So, and just in these areas, not this guy, what's gonna happen is these will pull open anyway, like this will bring it down for you. So let's just give it a little zhuzh. So glue here at the very base, glue here at this very base, and glue here. Now you can just close your card or however you want to do that for that to happen. They're showing to bring it up, but you know, just says adhere this to the lower part of your card. So I'm just going to lay this flat, to be honest, and close it this way. Again, you can pop them up to touch the base if you want. Now if I open this immediately, obviously it's not going to work too quickly, but let's give it a push. I'm going to kind of help it out with my hand so you see what happens. See how this guy, because the glue's not dry, but that's essentially what's going to happen there. So I'm just going to hold this down, just making sure we're not gluing it completely shut, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I just put a little weight on there to open this guy up. Oh my gosh. So first I'm going to give it a little help. I used a very, very, very sturdy paper for this, so for the little base pieces. So I just want to show you how that works. So those little boxes are what's holding it up there and holding it down here. So when your card closes, and when it opens, right? So there it is. And then if you're building up more and more, the next one, again, you put the large boxes on there, you're going to lay them flat, right? And you're going to glue them flat. Let me just pretend this is like this. Okay, sorry. So yeah, so just pretend this was flat. So we're pushing this stuff down, like towards the bottom of the card, right? And then you have your other characters, and we over here already put our base pieces. It was the large pieces, and you're going to put them flush to the bottom. Make sure. And then over here, we're going to again push them down, just like we did on these guys, right? Remember we turned around, we pushed them down, put the glue on the large part. And now when you turn it over, you're going to stick that to this guy, right? You're gonna stick it to this guy, and you're gonna stick it to this guy, and you know, depending on if you're gonna bring in the little animals, same thing. You're just kind of layering them up so they each have to touch each other. So let's say we have the characters here, they're gonna be stuck here, and then once that's adhered, you're gonna then put glue on these areas here and stick them down to the base, just like we did here, okay? And then if you want to put the animals, you're gonna stick them to the other characters and then stick them to the base. Same thing, you're just building it out. So hopefully that info helps you. And honestly, I mean, we could put those guys in here on an A2 size card. It's just gonna be a little more snug right there. They're gonna be a little bit more inside here, but you have plenty of room, obviously, for the building out. So that's, of course, up to you. And we have all this cuteness here. Just adorable. And if you want to color this in, I'll probably take the same yellow and the sunflower color, because I like that combo, and just do a little gradation of color to color this in, and that'll be my card. So thanks for watching, guys. Thank you so much, Die Press, for sending these items for review. I'll have images coming up. I'll have the links in the description box, and I will see you guys at the next one. Bye now.